Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Hasbro Build-A-Figure collection of Hobgoblin. We're having a look today at Marvel Legends Infinite Series Warriors of the Web Spider-Woman. An updated take on the original Spider-Woman character, and of course, yes, you are correct. We are going to be having a look at the Build-A-Figure collection as we build the very impressive Hobgoblin. Now down below it does say, yes, Warriors of the Web. It doesn't actually indicate that it's Spider-Woman on the front. However, when you flip it around to the back, it shows Spider-Woman as well as Spider-Girl on the back. Warriors of the Web, the very brief read-up says these heroines trap evildoers with web-slinging superpowers. Other figures down below, there's also Spider-Man, there's Anti-Venom, Spider-Man 2099, Warriors of the Web Spider-Girl, Warriors of the Web Spider-Woman, and Daredevil. This all comes to us from the folks over at Hasbro, and you can go to www.hasbro.com/Spider-Man. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, we're going to get a better look at Warriors of the Web, Spider-Woman, and, of course, we're going to start building our Hobgoblin. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Just before we have a look at Spider-Woman, which I'm actually surprised she's even standing properly, we're going to have a look at the torso that comes included with the figure. And yes, in fact, it is only the torso. It's small. And I know I'm going to be adding other components to it. I understand that. I'm going to be adding an arm, some arms, some legs, and a head. But I just kind of feel like it's a very small piece. And I'm wondering if by gauging it by the size of the torso, I'm giving it a proper gauge as to how big the figure actually is going to be. It just kind of seems like it's very tiny. At any rate, though, obviously it's going to get better. We're just going to put it to the side. And actually, we'll just put it to the side here. And focus our efforts on Spider-Woman. Well, I can tell you one thing, and it's a problem that sometimes female figures, at least that I get out of packaging, tend to have. That the legs are slightly warped. The one knee it's a little problematic. You might find yourself doing a little bit of adjusting when you first get the figure out of packaging. Yes, she is a little on the fidgety side. She is also really small too. I kind of expected her to be a bit bigger, although I don't really know what I was expecting because really, truthfully, holding her up next to Spider-Man, you can kind of see how much taller he is versus Spider-Woman here. The hair is nice. I like how that kind of blows to the side, and I really like the coloring. The coloring is really what gravitates me towards this piece. It almost is like a blood red. Red, by conventional standards, you usually would convey red. You usually would think of red if you're painting or if you're drawing it, if you're doing artwork. Red usually tends to be that kind of bright red color. But, I mean, red, the coloring of blood is kind of more so to this than anything else. An awful comparison, I know, to be comparing a figure to the color of blood, but it's this kind of chocolate red cranberry color. I love it. It works really well on the figure as opposed to it just being, like this regular. It's one of those reds that you don't see a lot on a figure, so that when you do, you really appreciate it. The one part I really don't care for so much is the fact that it's this pearl-esque kind of white that's on her fingertips, as well as the detailing on the back and the detailing on her eyes. Why I left this section out here is because this section here doesn't quite jive with the rest of the coloring. This has more of a, almost kind of like a copper wash over it, that it makes it very separate from this piece here. It's not consistent. There's just that. You don't see it right away, but then when you do see it, it's hard not to look at it. That this section, I just wish was this color and not this darker kind of, again, like this caramel colored wash that they put over top of it. The rest of the coloring is there's not a lot of design aspects to it, but really, I guess for that logic, there's not a lot of design aspects to even a Venom. Venom or Carnage, very singular in color. Spider-Woman, though, I think works. And hopefully the camera can pick it up, that when you get closer to her face, there's a sculpted-in mouth and nose and even chin underneath the mask. They could have smoothed it over. They could have just given us a Spider-Man conventional face. Really appreciate the fact that they would have put a sculpted-in under mouth. I mean, it looks like a mask that's put over top of a face. Very, very clever. When it comes to her articulation, it is what you would come to expect with Marvel Legends figures. She does have a ball hinge joint in the head, allowing a lot of movement both left and right, up and down. Ball hinge joints shoulders, which rotate all the way around. Ball hinge joints, peg hinge joints, I really should say, in the elbow, and a hinge in the hand. Of course, she has that upper torso ball joint as well. And as for her legs, ball joint, swivel at the thigh, double bend at the knee, swivel at the top of the boot, and a hinge, of course, in the foot. Good way to start this series of videos. Of course, yeah, Spot's going to be looking at all of the figures. I haven't opened up Spider-Girl yet, but I almost feel like I'm going to like this figure, Spider-Woman, a little bit more than Spider-Girl. Spider-Girl we've been there, we've done that. We've seen that kind of Spider-Man design before, that something like this becomes very refreshing. And for that, I really like this figure. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look and starting our reviews, of course, we have a look at the Build-A-Figure of Hobgoblin. Today we're having a look at Spider-Woman, a fantastic figure. Just because she's not, your Spider-Mans, your villains, don't overlook the fact that this figure still is a great addition to your collection. Stay tuned, guys. Spot, of course, we'll be having a look at the other figures as we put together, slowly but surely, as we put together Hobgoblin. More videos are definitely heading your way. Thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you guys next time.